Walk into the Wright Museum today and you may find it described as the world's first minivan, a smooth, teardrop-shaped machine from the 1930s, credited with inventing a category that would not truly exist for another half-century. The Stout Scarab. The legend is irresistible. A visionary built the future, and the public simply was not ready. But that version hides the decisive fact. This was not a mass-produced family car that arrived too early. It was a hand-built experiment, offered by invitation and priced beyond almost everyone who might have wanted it. Roughly 9 were built, at least 6 are documented. About 5 survive. The Scarab anticipated the future, but it never had a realistic chance in its own present. The question is not simply why it failed. The question is whether it was ever designed to succeed at scale. William Bushnell Stout built his reputation in the air, not on the road. He began in automotive engineering, moved into aviation, became Packard's aviation chief engineer, and founded Stout Engineering Laboratories. His designs leaned toward all-metal construction, efficient packaging, and passenger transport. They looked beyond the wood, wire, and fabric traditions that still shaped much of early aviation. One of Stout's 3-engine aircraft, the 3AT, helped set the direction for what followed. Ford acquired his aircraft company in 1925. Ford engineers substantially reworked the design, and the successful Ford Tri-Motor became one of the era's most recognizable airliners. Stout carried an engineer's credo: Simplicate, add lightness. Strip away what a machine did not need, make the remaining structure work harder. That logic made sense in an airplane. He wanted to know what it could do on the ground. By 1932, Stout had a drivable early Scarab prototype. It did not resemble the long hooded sedans around it. Its name came from the Egyptian scarab beetle, a symbol of regeneration. The car was meant to represent the same thing, an old object reconsidered from first principles. The developed Scarab that emerged in the middle of the decade looked alien beside ordinary American cars. Most placed an engine in front, a separate passenger body behind it, and a driveshaft tunnel through the middle. Stout moved the Ford Flathead V8 to the rear. That single choice changed everything ahead of it. The driver could sit far forward. The usual long drive line no longer consumed the center of the cabin. The floor became unusually open, and passengers gained space within a vehicle that was not dramatically larger than other big cars of the period. Passengers entered through a central door on the right. Inside, they did not face fixed rows of seats. The passenger chairs could be rearranged around a folding table. Only the driver's seat stayed in place. It was less like a sedan and more like a small room that happened to move. That is the strongest basis for the minivan comparison. The cabin was treated as useful living space, not whatever volume remained after the machinery had been installed. Dutch-born stylist John Charda is widely credited with shaping the developed body. Its covered headlamps, tapering roof, delicate metal flourishes, and Egyptian motif now read as pure Art Deco. The engineering extended beyond the layout. Museum records describe filtered air, ambient lighting, thermostat-controlled heating, and power door locks. Different hand-built cars varied in their details, but the ambition was consistent. Aircraft-minded construction surrounding a flexible passenger lounge. Stout did not pitch the Scarab as an everyman's automobile. It was to be built in limited numbers and sold by invitation to a selected list. The buyers and backers included industrial leaders such as Philip K. Wrigley, Harvey Firestone, Willard Dowdu, and Robert Stranahan. That list makes the Scarab sound glamorous. It also reveals the trap. The clientele was narrow by design. This was a car for people rich enough to treat an automobile as an engineering commission. Then came the price. Stout advertised the Scarab from about $5,000. Detroit Historical Society lists its 1935 example at $5,190. For comparison, Chrysler introduced the Airflow Series CU in 1934 at $1,345. The Airflow was itself radical, streamlined, and commercially troubled. Yet one Scarab cost nearly as much as four of them. That is the wall the too far ahead story usually avoids. Innovation did not merely make the Scarab unfamiliar. Hand construction made it ruinously expensive. There was no high-volume assembly line spreading tooling costs across thousands of vehicles. Each Scarab was assembled in tiny numbers, and the surviving cars are not perfectly identical. The process preserved experimentation while preventing the price from falling. Even the production total is uncertain. Detroit Historical Society and Studebaker National Museum say 9. Frist Art Museum says at least 6 and notes that some sources report 9. The exact answer matters less than the scale. This was a single-digit program. The Scarab did not fail because millions of ordinary buyers rejected it. Millions of ordinary buyers never had a meaningful chance to buy one. Its price, production method, and invitation-only positioning had already decided the outcome. About 5 original Scarabs are commonly reported to survive. Their scarcity helped transform them from commercial dead ends into museum treasures. Today, the shape once treated as strange is praised as an Art Deco landmark. Curators emphasize the rear engine, open floor, flexible seating, and compact one-box form. Those ideas really did anticipate later people carriers. But the later minivan succeeded by doing what the Scarab never did, delivering flexible space at a price ordinary families could reach, through production measured in hundreds of thousands rather than single digits. The resemblance in layout does not erase the difference in business. Stout returned to the idea after the Second World War. In 1946, he revealed another one-off experiment known as Project Y, or the 46. It used a fiberglass body when that material was still extraordinary in a full-size automobile. Detroit Historical Society describes it as the first such car. Other experiments make universal priority claims difficult, but the construction itself was unquestionably bold. The 46 also used pneumatic suspension with rear-engine packaging. Once again, Stout combined ideas that would become familiar much later. And once again, it went nowhere as a product. One experiment followed another. The technology changed, the market equation did not. The Scarab's real legacy is not a clean claim to inventing the minivan. It is a warning about confusing a prediction with a product. Stout correctly saw how much space the traditional automobile wasted. He correctly imagined a cabin built around passengers, rather than a long hood and a drive shaft. But correctness without cost discipline, repeatable production, or a reachable customer is only expensive correctness. The Scarab showed what a family vehicle might become. It never showed how to build that vehicle for families. Calling it ahead of its time is true. Calling it a production success waiting for history to catch up is the myth. Roughly 9 hand-built cars were enough to leave an idea behind. They were nowhere near enough to create a market. The future the Scarab predicted was real. The business beneath it was not. If these stories are worth your time, subscribe. There's always another catastrophe.